Playing the Nimzo-Indian allows you to choose a certain setup that you can play with your eyes closed without memorizing a single move, and because of its attacking potential, I can tell you it is a nightmare for everyone below 1900 FIDE. The setup you can always build and force your opponent into the deep dark woods basically comes down to these three things. Fianchetto your c8 bishop so that it is threatening white's kingside. Put your f6 knight into the center on e4. And 3. Advance f5 to support the knight. From that moment onwards, you don't need anything else to know in advance. The position is logical and you'd pull out the best moves without any pre-knowledge. In general, it comes to the fact that your setup allows you to keep control over the key e4 square and opens up a potential for the f8 rook to lift and start attacking. Then you'd realize that the b8 knight also wants to join the attack. So you'd push d6 and later play knight b8 d7. Of course, there is no point in pushing d5 because we are only blocking our bishop and even provoking some events in the center instead of investing our energy and time in attacking the kingside. Meanwhile, most likely white would be annoyed by our monstrosity on e4, so we can expect something like knight e2 or knight e1, followed by f3, which also helps against the activity of the black b7 bishop. Once the knight from e4 is evicted, they can try to push e4 and take control over the center. Black can either, try to prevent it or prepare a reaction in the center once e4 is done. Among other pawn breaks, white is interested in advancing most likely c5, but also teasing black with the queenside expansion a4, a5. Pawn to d5 is also possible, but if black can safely respond by pushing e6, e5, white is not too happy with the new pawn structure. It is important to know how to get there from the starting position. And if you are interested in statistics, you can see percentage of success for black as we approach our aggressive version of the Nimzo-Indian. Also, if you wonder why we took on c3, it's not because we ruined their pawn structure only, but because their c3 knight was no longer pinned, and we need the e4 square for our knight. In my experience, players often choose a path that looks like bishop a3, then we go with d6 and say rook b1. We're happy to play rook f6. When they finally push c5, we can trade and play rook g6. Now in case of knight e5, we have a beautiful sacrifice that leads to -7, so black is already winning. I'd suggest you to pause the video and try to find it, and maybe write down the whole line in the comment section. Now before we leave, I'd like to present you the possibilities of white on move 4 in the Nimzo-Indian for you to know when this dangerous setup of black is possible, because there are some lines where you cannot really do it. Now in case of e3, this is definitely going to work. We just play b6, and after a couple of moves more, the game starts to look like what we just analyzed. The second most popular line is queen c2. In that case, we can castle, and the most played move by far is a3. In which case we just trade and jump to e4, push f5, and next move is b6, and we are at home again. However, there is a possibility for white to do a little bit different on move 5 and push an early e4. Now white is not achieving anything special here, but it stops our plan, and we should turn to the basic opening principles and try to punish white for playing moves with their pawns and queen instead of developing. So most likely our response should be striking in the center with the d5. Now it goes beyond the point of the video, so I'll stop here and let you explore this further. On the bright side, I can tell you that I have faced this only once throughout whole my career, playing the Nimzo-Indian. Next is Semish variation for a3. In that case, you can definitely get where you want. Just take on c3 and place your knight on e4. It's a bit rushing to the center. Typically we castle first, but believe me, this is going to work well for you. And after queen c2, just hit f5 and you're good. Then there are two lines that definitely won't allow us to get where we want. That's with the fort bishop g5, which is pinning our knight, and the other line is with fort f3, again preventing our knight from going to e4. So the typical plan is out, and some further studying is probably required. I'm going to create more videos on these themes, and if you want to see them when they get published, my suggestion for the time being is to like this video and subscribe.